is an educational video on height transfers using a laser level. Now, I want to get the height of this floor, this one here that my foot's on, where the garage is. I want to transfer that, not here, but let's say I'm going to do an extension here on this where my shadow is, and I want the floor height to be the same level as the garage as deemed by the surveyors, the engineer's plans, etc. That's the purpose of this video. There are two possible ways in achieving results of getting that floor level right across around to the other side of the building. So we have the set out robot, which takes quite a bit of knowledge to understand its functionality and how it works. Or this is my laser box. It's not the original. I bought the laser without a box, but that's the laser box nonetheless. You can have the original receiver, which as you can see is in very good condition. This is the pane that it reads on, and that is the bubble that you hold level at all times to give you the most accurate possible reading. I will be using, for all intended purposes, a different receiver. Here is my laser. That's well looked after, it's positioned, it's been calibrated, and as you can see, it's in very good condition. This is the laser legs that hold it, which I had to repair because some people thought it was funny to run it over with a truck. This is the Spectraphysics double-sided laser collector. It reads from front and back and mostly on every angle. It's quite a good receiver. On to the next step. Now, usually we use these kind of pits as our RLs, for our RLs, which is all our levels based upon engineering, but as you can see, the gum tree here has compromised it, so usually you will find a nail that is in the curb somewhere or on the footpath, and that will be a plus 100 or a 97.75 or something along those lines. Best friend in this exercise is a good quality measuring tape. Quite easy to use, really. You'd have to be a fool or very uneducated not to be able to use one of these. Your other trusty friends in this exercise is an S-wing hammer. This is my very first S-wing hammer. 13 years, had it for, American made, beautiful hammer, and some small nails. These are your friends. You'll need a lot of friends in doing this. Now I'm going to set up three possible scenarios. I would like to do the robot, but it's very hard to use. I will do the laser, and I'll do that in two scenarios. I'll do the scenario of my home, and I'll do the scenario of a customer's home. The difference between my home and a customer's home is simple. My home, I have access to anywhere I want. The customer's home, you have to respect the customer and work off plans and try and work things out yourself. So I'll be doing both of them. For all intended purposes, I don't know any levels on this property, so I've decided to use this line as an example for getting my RL. As you can hear, it's beeping level. Should be able to see it there. Level. Let's work from this. Now, like I said, you shouldn't be using a round broom handle as a staff, but I know what I'm doing, so we'll go with that. Alright, so that's our RL of plus 100 out on the footpath. Okay, so here is my mark for my RL of +100, and I've lasered off the garage floor, so I'll make that the garage floor. Now, I can automatically tell you by that the garage is 275mm above that curb. Okay, so what I've done is I've actually measured down 3 bricks from the garage, which I'll try and put the stick in a manner so you can see. So you've got garage floor off the curb, 1 brick, 2 bricks, 3 bricks. I'm expecting a 3 brick step down in this place. Now I know nothing about this place, it's not mine, I'm renting it, so this is a rough, like I said, for all intended purposes, educational on getting a laser level, but there's a reason for making this video at the end. Now, with all that being said and done, I have my level worked off the gutter over there. I can now turn this laser off and I can shift it to a position where I can get a true RL and finished floor level. So I'll be doing that right now as we say. Everything I've done now in measuring all this means nothing. I've moved the laser to that point there, which means all these measurements now matter nothing. The one thing that's important and that matters is this nail. Okay, so there we go. There's our, I have 3 marks on there, as you see. One's the tile and one's the cement sheet. This house is built on stumps, and I've done it on all marks. So that's the garage floor. This one here is the garage floor. That's the curb, and that's the actual sitting on top of the tile at the moment. If I was to go below the tile, I'd go on the top mark, up to go down, of course. Now, if I take a measure from the top mark to the garage, that will give me the difference between the garage floor and the top of the floorboards. Okay, so the other trusty friend's a calculator. Now what happens now is we can put this down on paper. So we have our curb RL, we have our garage finished floor here, and in increments of, I worked on bricks to start with, but this house is built different. It's on stumps, so I had to work tiles, cement sheet, and top of floorboard. Top of tile, cement sheet, top of floorboard, and vice versa. So with your calculator, you can work out that the curb is your +100 mark. We know by lasering off the curb to the garage floor that it is 275mm above the curb, and working the difference between the garage and the top of the floorboard here, we know that that's 420mm from the curb. We just add it all on, so you have a finished floor level FFL for the garage, which is GAR. We have a finished floor level for the house. Now if you set your stick up right, you take that away from that, and this is the result I got, 145mm. So let's check it out. So top of tile to top of my garage mark, which is just there, is exactly 145mm, as you can see. Okay, so far we've achieved finding the finished floor level of the house and that of the garage. So for the future of the job at hand, which would be, let's say, to put an extension here, I would put my new nail in a fence post, let's say here. Okay, so what I've done here is I've moved the laser up to my floorboard mark. I've put a nail to my floorboard mark there, and I can safely now move the laser again to transfer the RL to the backyard. Okay, so let's recap what we've done. From this mark here, my dedicated plus 100, to lasering off the garage floor, which is 275mm above that curb point, to lasering off the house floor, which is 420mm above that curb point. We've then transferred, we've then transferred the nail by the finished floor to this fence post, which we've then transferred to the back fence, which is here, and that's our top of floorboard, which is relegated to the house over there. And in this situation, because the house is on stumps, top of the floor finishes roughly about this brick here. Now, it's irrelevant where the floor finishes to the bricks, because what you do is, for your rebates that the bricks would sit on, now I'm talking about putting a slab down in this project. We could do it in floorboards as well, which would be just as easy. You'd have a footing, so you'd still be governed by the same rules. You would have to profile the bricks. You would have to work in bricks so that at the top and all along here you have the same, this is called a gauge, same gauge as the bricks, and everything finishes relative to the existing building. So would I do a slab here? Yeah, I'd do a slab, it's cheap enough, and I would work these steps here actually as a 170 step, because it's totally, this would be a total custom job. I would work in 190 steps, and I would have one step into the slab, so 2 steps, 1 tread, and lower it down so it's not too high at the back of the building, and give myself some nice high ceilings. Now I've gone and measured 380 down from the other nail there, that nail's already in place, but to check myself from this line here on the sensor to here is 380mm, and we should have that nail set in place for a two-step step down into this imaginary room we'd be building. Okay, so what I've done here, this is the house finished floor level, this nail here. Now I wanted to go 2 steps lower on this imaginary slab I'd be putting here if I was doing an extension, which is minimum 190mm by 2 is 380, so you have 1 step, then you hit the floor, which is this nail here. This would be the height of the slab. Now I'm not worried about any brickwork, just the top of the floor, because the brickwork I can profile off the existing brickwork, which is the only way to do it, and that will work out my deepened edge rebate. So the top of my new floor, what I've done is I had the original mark here, and I went up the stick 380mm. So there's my original mark there. I went up 380. Let's just check if this nail is correct. Spot on, as you can see. So that's the height of the new imaginary building. Now the reason you drop it down this low is simple. You don't really want to end up with a floor that's high, this high, and it's just the way you do it. around here you'd have a deepen edge rebate. I've seen people who can't even do deepen edge rebates, and you see the side of the slab hanging out. So basically that's it, folks. Now, I'm just a dumbass concreter. I shouldn't know any of this. I should just go to a nail in the fence. There's my height and work down off that. But unfortunately, over the years we've had to learn, and we've become very good at what we do. Most concreters can do it. There are some out there, you know, you advertise for concreters in the newspaper, they can't even read plans. Grading a lane is just a hassle, and so that's to the extent of you gaining knowledge, learning to use lasers and working out your levels and getting it right, and you can get the job done perfect to the customer's satisfaction. Works out every time, I'm afraid to say. Okay, just to wrap it up on what we've done here, got a bit of paper. Start point is 100, which was off the curb. We worked out that the garage was 275 mil above the curb. The finished floor level of the house was 420 mil above the curb. Now, by dropping it 2 steps, you would do, say, minus 380, 420 minus 380, you end up with 100.04. I can accurately tell you that this point here now is 40 mil above the curb out the front. That is how accurate the measurement is. I stand by it, TopCon would stand by it, and any good concreter would stand by it. Okay, just another quick word before I go. Set out robot, automatic, brilliant machine. Takes a bit to use it. Under no circumstances in the building industry should you ever trust a surveyor. They are good at what they do, but it's all about double checking. Check your measurements between your pegs, your set out. Check it all with a tape measure. If it works out, great, fine. Something doesn't work out, question it. The builder might have sent a new set of amended plans to someone, and someone hasn't picked it along the line, and you can end up with all sorts of terrible errors. Never use a parallel wall if there's no proper set out done to do your measurements, because it could be wrong. You could be going over building lines. The implications are, well, huge. So the set out robot, I'll do a video on that one day, but you need the software, the transfer tools and everything to work it out. It's all about referencing, geo-positioning and that sort of stuff. Now, I'm just a dumbass concreter.